KOMP 92.3, the rock station. It's Sylvia, and I am joined by Art Alexakis of Everclear. I'm so excited to be talking to you.
So excited to be talking to you, especially when you just said my name like you're a Greek person, Alexakis.
You know what? I was a little hesitant on saying it because I was like, oh, I hope I don't mess it up.
Nailed it. Like nailed it. Nailed it. Yeah.
We were talking off Zoom, and we were talking about like ancestry results. Obviously, I got Spanish in me, Mexican, indigenous, but I got 3% Scottish.
There you go. I've
I
got some
might have.
Scottish in me, I'm pretty sure. By the way, good morning. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, absolutely.
We're excited to come to Vegas tomorrow.
Yeah.
Um, but my wife, when that whole 23andMe came out, she's my fourth wife, right?
Uh-huh.
She's smarter than me. I already told you about that. And
Yeah.
she's like, she's Mensa. She's like literally Mensa. She's like 148 IQ or something like that.
Dang.
And and she looks like a Barbie doll.
Yeah.
Score.
Yeah.
Um,
You lucked out on that one.
I like nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Actually, everything to do with it. But she's like, no, you can't do that. You can't do 23andMe. I go, what do you mean I can't do it? She goes, I don't want you to do it. You're after your past, you're gonna have kids coming out of the woodwork.
Oh no.
I'm like, I'm like,
Okay. And then you kind of guess, like, I'm pretty sure because you're part Greek too, right?
I'm half Greek.
You're half Greek, yeah. So you're like, I'm Greek. Who's
Well,
half
I'm half Greek. I know I'm half Greek. My dad's Greek, but you
Okay.
know,
That's
there
all you need to know.
that's all I need.
That's it.
And the rest is white trash, and I'm okay with that.
That's the part Greek and then like miscellaneous.
Yeah, I
And
used to
you're good.
we used to have a shirt that said white trash I'm proud of.
Yeah. But you guys are going to be here at Lee's Family Forum
Yeah,
tomorrow with Marcy Playground, Jimmy's Chicken Shack. Now this is going to be a fun show. I'm excited for it. And then it's also kind of special because you guys released the 25th, like celebrating 25 years of your album American Movie Volume 1 by releasing a vinyl, which you weren't able to do back then.
right, right. Songs from an American Movie, Volume One.
American Movie, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, it came out on 7/11, July 11th, 2000.
Mm-hmm.
And um, when I signed my deal with Capitol, I put in it was ironclad. It was like you talked about those boundaries. It just you got to do vinyl, got to do vinyl. I don't
Yeah.
know how to make money from it. You got to do 500 pieces of vinyl. Got to have it. And they did it for World of Noise, Sparkle and Fate, So Much for the Afterglow. And by this time, we've sold like 5 million records, right?
Yeah.
And I call them, like I send the artwork and they go, no, we can't do this. You need to talk to um, Gary Gersh. You need to talk to the president of the label. I'm like,
Oh wow.
will. I call him up. He goes, man, we're not doing vinyl. No one buys it, Art. Come on. I go, it's in the contract, dude. You don't have a choice. And he's like, well, you can sue me, but I do have $2.5 million of your money in the pipeline. So go ahead, sue me. Like,
You're like, dang it.
that, I didn't say dang it, but I said
Yeah, I'm
something.
pretty sure you
I
said
said,
some
man,
the
you're up. And he goes, yeah, I am.
yeah.
I go,
Was
okay.
this I mean, this was during the time of CDs. So it was just more
Oh, yeah.
CDs being sold or
Oh, nothing was sold more in 2000 than CDs.
yeah.
Remember, about 2 years earlier is when Napster raised its head.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
this debate was really really perking up. This is way before streaming and Spotify and all that stuff. So um, the label was really trying to figure itself out, and the record industry made huge mistakes. They tried to battle um, the whole Napster thing instead of co-opting
Embrace it, yeah.
and figuring out a way to monetize it, which they eventually did.
Yeah. So let's go back to your previous bands. You had the Easy Hose, which
And it
uh,
says it all, doesn't it?
it does. But this was formed during the time that you discovered cowpunk. Am I correct?
I didn't dis I didn't discover cowpunk. Cowpunk was, see, people talk about that, that it's not really true. Cowpunk was a thing that basically came out of LA, a little bit out of
Okay.
Texas, mostly out of LA in the late 70s, early 80s. A lot of the punk rockers moved towards more of a rootsy Americana thing, and
Hmm.
there's some bands that took it to the nth degree. So like bands like Blood on the Saddle, uh, Tex and the Horseheads, just really punk, but really with like like country twanging guitar.
Yeah, yeah.
Dug that stuff, but I always liked country and mixed with my rock because I thought REM had a lot of that too, being
Hmm.
from Georgia, just that rootsy Americana sound. So when I lived in San Francisco, my band Easy Hose, I put it out on my label Shindig, and because there was a scene going on there with a lot of cool like punk rockers, that tattooed people that were playing like country inflected rock and punk and even pop, but it had that twang, kind of twang to it. It was way ahead of its time, way before Americana became a thing.
Yeah.
This 88, 89, 90. And I put out a I put out a compilation of bands. Easy Host was the first album we put out, and then we put out a compilation called Lazy Loud and Liquored Up. It's a
Yeah,
great, it's a picture of a cowboy hat on fire. It's really cool.
yeah.
Cool. And then my other band after the Easy Host broke up, because we had a female bass player and two singers, and we were both sleeping with her at the same time.
Mm. It's messy. It's messy.
Messy. In my defense, I was, stupid and young. But now I'm just stupid and old. But my next band was called Colorfinger, and that's where you were.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
good band, stupid name. But we were on my label Shindig as well. And every band I was in, like when I got when uh I got sober in 1989, but I got clean off dope, other drugs in 1984. And
Hmm.
after that happened, I really like pursued music with a vengeance. I
Hmm.
was doing it. I looked like a musician. I hung out with musicians, strippers, and the whole Hollywood scene, but
Sure.
I really wasn't. I I had those filters of drugs and alcohol that was keeping me from really realizing it. So once I started writing songs and stuff, and I got clean,
Hmm.
that was like a rocket ship.
Yeah, but so you looking at it now, when you hear like when you see Color Finger and you see um the Easy Hose, like what were they missing that Everclear eventually had?
Just me to grow up and become better at what I was doing. Um, the Easy Hose, I only wrote two songs on that, and I only sang lead on four songs, two covers and two originals. Um, it was with other people, and there's the other guy that was singing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mainly played lead guitar. I wanted to play like punk rock country guitar in a band and do that thing. Because growing up, I never really wanted to be a singer. I was a singer out of necessity because I just hated dealing with singers who like didn't know how to play an instrument. And
Yeah.
can you play something more linear? No, linear is not a musical term. I'm not playing it. And people are like, you know what he means. I go, I know what he means, but no, I'm not.
Hmm.
I'm not. I quit a band in the middle of a rehearsal because the singer was being a jerk,
Uh-huh.
and it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
And, and I went home and taught myself how to sing and play guitar, and slept on my mom's couch for a while. One of the many times I came back home in
Yeah.
my late teens, early 20s, and and that was the start of it. I started writing songs, and
When you did discover that you could sing, were you like, whoa, I didn't know I could do this?
well, I still don't think I can sing. I don't really love my voice. I
Hmm.
love it, but it's distinctive. I get that. I have a
Hmm.
distinct speaking voice and I have a distinctive singing voice, and I get that. So that's cool. I mean, look at Neil Young. I mean, I don't think Neil Young is anybody's idea of like the best singer in the world, but you know what he sounds like.
Hmm.
one word out of his mouth, you know that that's him. Me, I can hear his guitar playing and I know that's him. And
Mhm.
that's what I always tried to uh, put the emphasis on was originality and find my own voice.
Mhm.
Well, and when I like right now, I'm writing a memoir, and I tried to do it with ghostwriters. They were just,
No.
but it didn't sound like me.
Yeah, I feel like you have, if you're gonna write a memoir, that has to come from you, because if you can have a ghostwriter, that just it's
Well, it
just
did come from me,
there's
but
no soul. There's no soul, I guess.
you could
They
take
don't.
my words and
Yeah.
it didn't
Yeah.
sound like my voice, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm doing it now, and I'm working with an editor. Like, you know, I'll do it out. Like, I'll talk it out. It'll print out, and I'll
Yeah.
move things around, and I'll send it to him, and he'll, you know, clean it up, and he'll make some suggestions of like this and that. And about half of them, I'm like, yeah, okay. But it's
So
more,
this is in the beginning stages, right? So there's no
yeah,
like release date or
we're
anything.
about, yeah, I'm doing it very slow because I'm busy. You know,
Yeah.
I'm busy.
You gotta be a rock star, man.
Yeah. No, no. But I look like a rock star right now.
I mean,
I'm snapping at you because I haven't had lunch yet, and I'm trying to figure out uh Uber Eats.
yeah, that's fine. It's fine. But 30 years old is when you
Yeah,
started. That's
okay.
right. You have your t-shirt that you showed me.
It says my unyielding melancholy brings all the existentialists to the yard. And when I wear that shirt, people are like, on you know, down in the crowd, they're like,
Oh, it's a great shirt. It's a great shirt, man. But like 30 years old, you started Everclear, which I know in interviews you've said that like, oh man, in rock that's old, but like taking it out of rock, like you're still so young at 30 years old.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but
I think men are useless till they're 30 years old. When I meet girls in their 20s who are like heartbroken, I'm like, you got to date a guy at least 30 years old. If you're ready to have a real relationship,
yeah,
they men take forever to grow up. You
it's
know that.
true. It's
It
maybe not even at 30, but it's true. Um,
depends on the guy.
it is
Some of us never look. I'm not going to name any names, but there's guys in bands. I saw one guy in band, a picture of him. He's 64,
uh-huh.
older than me, and he's got a 19-year-old girlfriend.
Ah, okay.
Wow,
I don't
that's his,
I don't
that's like
know.
a granddaughter.
Yeah.
And I can't talk. My wife's younger than me, but not like that.
No,
Like
I mean that
he's got a good 20, 30 years on me.
I don't know the what you would have in common. But that is,
I do.
I mean, aside from that. but,
But yeah,
but that is neither here nor there. But 30 years old, you started Everclear. You
I
made a
did
deal
feel
with a
like I was
guy. Of course, like at the time, but
the
it was
industry. I didn't feel like I was too old. So people know what we're talking about. Is when I
mhm,
was 30, I started my last band. I moved
mhm.
to Berlin. I had a baby on the way, and it was going to be my last band. If I didn't, if this one didn't happen, I was gonna move to LA, get a job at a label, songwrite, produce, you know, world domination that way.
Yeah.
Was
Were you nervous when you like went into this recording studio of like, okay, this is my last band, this is my last attempt? No?
no, because it wasn't really a fancy recording studio. I had been in
Oh.
better recording studios. So quick story. So I'm digging a garden out for my girlfriend who became mother of my daughter, became my second wife. Uh, she worked and her boss needed a garden dug out. So my girlfriend's like, go dig it out. It's $200. Go do it. And
Yeah.
this is 1993, $200 is a lot of money in Portland. And I'm like, so I'm digging it out. I look over the fence and I see all these hipster guys going in and out of a basement. And I'm like, oh, that's a drug deal.
You're
That's,
like, I know a drug deal.
I know a drug deal when I say, and then as I'm digging and I look at the guy and the guy comes out and he's like, hey man, are you that guy from that band Evergreen? I go, Everclear.
Sure.
Yeah,
Fine,
sure.
whatever. Uh-huh.
Yeah, sure,
Uh-huh.
whatever. And he's like, yeah. He goes, man, you want to come see my basement studio? I'm just open. I'm just showing it to people. I'm like, basement studio. So of course I put the shovel down and
Sure.
the fence, and that shovel's probably still sitting there.
No one's moved it. Forgot all about it.
No, I went back and finished. I needed $200,
Uh,
but I went over there and he showed me the basement studio, and I'm like, it had the eggshell, foam on the walls, but he had really good mics. He had a good little 8-track, quarter-inch 8-track, um, and I go, how much are you charging? He goes, $10 an hour. I go, would you take trade? I got two, uh, I got a reverb unit and a digital delay. He goes, bring them over. I bring them over. He goes, yeah, man, I'll give you $400 in trade for that. I go, that's 40 hours of recording. I got 12 songs done. So we did it after work for 2 weeks, because we all worked regular jobs. And
mhm.
we go in there and record till it was too late to record because his wife would get mad, you know, like
Sure.
at night, and start stamping on the floor up top. And so I wasn't nervous about it. I was just like, to be honest with you, I wasn't really sure if this was going to be the band because I was going to pull the plug because we were having a hard time getting gigs. I
Mhm.
didn't know what it sounded like. I'd listened to boombox versions that people done at shows, but I wasn't sure. So I wanted to see what we had. And we went in and recorded the 12 songs, and I listened to it, and I'm like, there's something there. There's definitely something there. And so I sent it out to South by Southwest.
Mhm.
We got accepted for that. Um, Sent it to the New Music Marathon in New York, got accepted into that, and
Wow.
toured the band of clubs that the Easy Hose and Colorfinger had played, and before we left town, I sent out 28 copies of the tape to radio stations in the Northwest, venues, clubs, uh, publications. And as we were coming back from Austin, my girlfriend calls me on the pager. This is before cell phone.
Yep.
You're a little young for that, but the pager. And I call her and she goes, "Man, you better get home now." I go, "I'm in Nebraska. I'm heading home." Why? She goes, "There's 67 messages on our phone machine." I'm like, "Why?"
Is that good or bad?
Because of your album. I go, "What album?" I sent out demo taping. She goes, "Baby, people are freaking out about it. They're writing about it in town. There's just like, you got to get home." And we came home and we were like, everyone thought we were the best thing since sliced bread. And
Yeah.
we had had a hard time getting gigs. Now we were like, nationals would come to town and we get that gig. So that was 93. And we built up and started headlining and getting interest from labels. And we signed to Capitol. And then,
Mhm. So yeah, you signed to Capitol in 94, but um you made sure to have boundaries with them because there was a story where you were like, I have to have creative control. I have to produce the records. Like I have to do all this, like either that or nothing.
well, it was different than that, but yes. So back in the day, what you would do is management would send out faxes, right?
Mhm.
And uh, labels would, like send offers on fax. And because it's before email,
Mhm.
they'd send faxes over and the management would send those to other labels and they'd send back better ones. And that's what we call the bidding war, right? That
Yeah.
would be the bidding war. And this went on for a couple of days, and I'm just like, man, I don't want to do this. So I sent, much to the chagrin of my manager, I sent a letter to all of them and said, I want this much money. I want these many firm records. I want this much marketing money. I want tour support. I want this. I want that. I want publicity. I want to be able to use my own publicist, blah, 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 blah. Built in, I want this much on the back end. I'll take this much up front. And everybody's like, oh, it's pretty reasonable. This kid knows what he's talking about. Okay. And then I said, oh yeah, by the way, I sent another text or another um,
Email.
fax.
Facts.
No,
Uh-huh.
not
So
email.
that's right. That's right. We're in the 90s.
Fax. And I go, oh yeah, by the way, I want total creative control on every aspect of everything to do with Everclear. And I produce my own records. And Oof, like over 2/3 of the record labels just, nope, not interested.
Wow.
Anyway, and there was like 8 left, and Capitol was one of those. So
Well, you had a little bit of experience with records because you had your own record company.
yeah,
So it was a little bit easier, I guess.
that's true. But so I knew a lot of the terms and stuff like that, and the
Yeah.
contractual, boilerplate and stuff like that. But really, I learned from growing up in LA and the music scene, watching other people make mistakes
Mm-hmm.
and acting like when they signed to a major label, they went out and bought cars, they did all this stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah.
man, that money isn't real. That's an advance. And you got to pay it back. Well, the label, your record's got to pay it back. It's not real. And I learned that early on. And so when we went into it, we didn't have that attitude. I taught the guys that were in my band who were 8 years younger than me, which doesn't sound a lot now, but they were 20.
Mm.
I was 32. So
Yeah.
it was a big deal. And I'm like, you know, I'll take your money, but I'm going to do this with it.
Mm-hmm.
And we made Sparkle and Fade for 85 grand, which was really, really low.
Crazy.
And
Yeah.
'cause they gave me a fund of 150, and that meant, and I wanted a fund because that meant I spent whatever I spent to make it so that they wanted it, they accepted it. Anything left over was ours.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean you didn't have to recoup it, but through record sales, we didn't have to pay it back to them.
Yeah.
And and that's what we lived on. That we weren't making much money from touring, maybe 200-300 bucks a show.
Mm-hmm.
And we
And
were
that has
all,
to be split up amongst all of you, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I split it 3 ways. I've always owned the band. It's always been my last word, but I did everything 3 ways, and I gave them part of my publishing.
Okay. And they had the record company had an issue with you being in your 30s, and they wanted you to be like, let's just pretend you're 24.
Someone's been on the internet. Someone's doing due diligence.
I did my research.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, when we were doing the bios and stuff like that, it came back and it said, Craig and Greg are 24, Art's 25. And I'm like, I'm not 25, man. I wish I was 25.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we know Art, but we're gonna say you're 25 because it just looks better. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
no, you're not. You're not gonna do that. Well, and then I called, I went all the way up to the record
Mhm.
guy, the head of the label, and he's like, look, I'm not arguing with you here. We're putting it out as you're 25. I go, look, man, I don't need you to help me look like a bad word.
Mhm.
Do that all on my own. Trust me. You know, I'll forget. No, I'm 32. That's
Yeah.
and like you said, looking back, that's a baby.
It's yeah. I mean, I'm only 35, but even like 32 in your 30, like that's so young.
That's young. Yeah.
Um, but I think it shows that you were not willing to compromise your integrity and you being authentic. So I think that's good to stay true to yourself because otherwise people are just gonna know. Like eventually the truth is gonna come out.
Well, that's kind of how I feel about it. But the truth will always comes out.
Yeah.
Truth comes out.
And
You
that's gonna be
cheat on someone,
embarrassing.
they're gonna find out.
Yeah.
It's gonna find a way of coming out. So if you don't want to have to deal with all that, don't do
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
That's why I'm a life coach and I coach people, and I'm just like, I'm not a therapist, but I'm just like practical stuff. Yeah, your wife doesn't understand you. Well, stop sleeping with 25-year-old.
Just
Taking a
crazy.
taking a taking a swing here, dude. You're my age.
Yeah.
And
We'll get into you being a life coach in just a bit, but
oh,
fast forward,
that's
I
on the list, huh?
it's on the list. I'm telling you, I did my research. So you have hit after hit, of course, Father of Mine, Wonderful, Santa Monica, all coming.
Sounds so easy the way you say it.
I know, but they're all songs coming from like really rough times and dark times. Like, what is it like performing those songs now, like after so many years have passed and like you've evolved as a person, you've grown as, professionally. Like what's it like singing those songs in front of, so many people now?
You know, I do it every night. I mean, it's to really get into those songs and perform them the way they need to be performed. I can't phone them in.
Yeah.
If I was singing songs about, you know, girls getting laid, getting high and partying and or Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that, I could probably phone it in.
Yeah.
You're talking about Father of Mine, you're talking about I'll Buy You a New Life, you're talking about everything to everyone, even Santa Monica finding comfort zones. You got to be connected, or
Mhm.
my audience doesn't respond. I have to be connected to it,
Yeah.
feel the passion of it. So it's a bit draining at times, but it's also exciting.
Do you do anything to kind of like regain that energy after you? Because I'm like I said, like these songs are heavy. Like they might sound a little bit, happy or they have a cheerful
I
tone
do
to
I
it,
do
but
that on purpose. I like major chords. So
yeah,
you got songs like Wonderful, na 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 na
yeah.
na, and
But the when you read the lyrics, it's heavy. So like, how do you kind of like recharge after that?
I just, I don't know. We
You've
were
been
talking,
doing it
we
for
were
so long.
talking on we were talking off camera about extroverts and introverts.
Hmm.
I'm definitely an extrovert, but there's times when I just, and I told you before, I just need to like cocoon a little bit.
Hmm. Hmm.
After a show, I'm not a go out party. I never have been. I'm sober and clean anyway.
Yeah.
I, I go to my room or my bunk and that's it. And I'll hang out with the boys, have a slice of pizza or something.
Sure.
But then I need to just bring it down, scroll, you know,
Yeah.
um, keep up on stuff, like, watch TV, watch movies and stuff on,
Take your
Netflix.
mind off of things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just diffuse it. And then when I wake up, I'm ready to go.
So I don't know if many people know this, but you were diagnosed with MS. Was it 2019,
2016, actually,
2016, right? Yeah.
2019 is when I told people about it.
Okay.
I mean, other than people in my life and people I
Sure.
meet, even fans, if they came in a wheelchair, I'd go talk to them. If they had MS, I'd tell them I had MS. I wasn't hiding it, but
Yeah.
I wasn't, I
Like
didn't,
public.
I needed to process it, you know?
Sure.
It's scary. It was
Yeah.
scary for me. And I, like when I found out, when the doctors told me, I went and called my wife and FaceTimed her and told her. We both started crying. Um,
Yeah.
and then I drove home. By the time I got home, this shows you my wife. She had my laptop, her laptop, my daughter's iPad. It looked like she was trying to like hack into Fort Knox or something.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Baby, we got this. You're gonna be okay. We're gonna do this. We're gonna change your diet. You're gonna start exercising. You're gonna start swimming.
Mhm.
You do this." And I'm like, "Man,
Okay.
it's good to have a good woman in your life."
I mean, yeah, thank God for her because like that in itself is just so hard to deal with it on your own. So like if you, God forbid, you had a partner that's like, okay, like who didn't know how to process it either. Like I
And
can't even imagine.
it happens to people.
Yeah.
I know people I meet and I'm like, I was married and she found out about it and she left me. And I'm like, you're better off, bro.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
you're gonna find someone who's just gonna go, okay, what else you got?
Yeah. But like,
How much money do you make? Let's get down to brass tacks here, buddy.
yeah, but it's a horrific disease and you're still touring, you're still giving music out. I mean, you're writing a memoir, but you're not letting that hold you back. And that's probably due to your wife kind of being your partner in crime and like, supporting you. But you've even said that you were grateful for MS because it's taught you so many things like that. It's such a when you hear that
I,
you've been diagnosed with MS, of course you're scared, but like to be grateful, that's a whole different perspective.
Well, that also goes back to 35 years of being in a 12-step program as
Yeah.
well, is embracing gratitude and reality. Like, look, I got MS. That's
Mhm.
it. There's no like, oh, I wish I didn't have it. I don't waste time on that. I'm like, I look forward. I'm like, well, yeah, that sucked. I made a mistake there. I'm gonna make amends to people. I'm gonna make reparations.
Mhm.
They don't accept it, it's up to them, right? But
Mhm.
I'm not gonna carry that anymore. I'm moving on. And it's the same thing, but I'm grateful for the adversity because a lot of people who have autoimmune diseases, if they're not physically active and mentally cognitively active, it just seems to progress way faster.
Mhm.
And it's a race. The medication I take, my diet, my swimming, my all this stuff, it's all to just slow
Mhm.
down the disease, you know. And uh, once I realized that, I was grateful for the adversity because I have to go through airports and stuff, and I have to, the hour and 15 minutes I'm on stage is wonderful.
Yeah.
But the other 23 hours or 22 and a half hours of getting there is hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. It'd be hard on a guy who didn't have it, who's 62 years old, you know,
Yeah.
but I do. So it adds another 10 or 15 years on me sometimes. It feels like when,
Sure.
because it's fatigue and balance and, um, muscle tremors and
Mhm.
stuff
Mhm.
like that. And if I eat right and I don't eat a lot of sugar, I feel fine. I not fine, but I feel okay. Uh,
Yeah.
but I like to eat. I'm an ex-addict. I'm an ex-junkie. I'm a
Yeah.
recovering junkie. I love sugar. I just can't eat it. But sometimes
Mhm.
I cheat and then I don't feel good for it.
And then you're like, that's why I probably shouldn't be around that.
Yeah,
Lessons. It's
but life is sometimes you got to do bad things.
yeah.
And if the worst thing I'm doing, I'm not drinking, I'm not
Yeah.
drugging, I'm not chasing women, I'm not, doing all that. I've been married 4 times, not an accident, you know. It's not their, it's not
Yeah.
partly their fault, but it was not all their fault. If I
Yeah.
had done everything right, who knows? I
Mhm.
probably could have made those choices too, as well. But the woman I'm with now, the person I'm with, my partner in life, my wife, is um someone that we've grown in 20 years. I don't
Mhm.
know how long you've been with your husband, but marriage is not a thing that once you get married, you're married. That's when it starts.
I
And
know.
like you learn through the commitment and stuff like, oh man, I didn't sign up for that. Well, yeah, you kind of
You
did.
kind of did. It was in the small print.
Yeah, it was in you did. And you don't have to know about it.
Yeah.
They might not have known about that thing about them that pisses you off.
Mhm.
It's called work. You
Yep.
got to work. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
You do the work. And that's part of the fun because when you do the work, look what you get out of it.
Mhm.
And that's my whole idea behind that. I feel the same thing about COVID. I caught COVID in early 21 in January, and it progressed my MS, which
Mhm.
made it harder for me. And but I'm grateful for that because it taught me a lot about just gratitude, just glass half full. Look what I got. I get to play guitar for a living. I've got a wonderful family. My wife's hot. She's smart. She's better than me. My kid is awesome. Um, I get to play music with my friends. Um, I take good care of them. Everybody's got families, supports their families, and get a good life. This is a
Yeah.
good. I don't look at other bands and go, "Wow, we should be bigger than those guys," because I get a lot of people say that. I go, "I don't feel that, man." Yeah, God bless them.
That having that mentality too is exhausting, and you've
Right.
got plenty of things on your plate.
You're carrying, I liken it. I love when you say it's exhausting. 'Cause it's like when you have those resentments, you're carrying like an upside down uh pyramid on your shoulders, and it just gets bigger and bigger and scarier, and you're just weighed down by it. And
Yeah.
I work through my resentments. If I feel it, uh, I get angry, I'll walk away from it, I'll cool down, I'll start writing it out. That's something I learned from the program.
Mhm.
And then, and it's, and we're going to talk about my life coaching,
Yeah.
a lot of things from the program. And I work with guys who aren't addicts. And I only work with guys too, because I don't put myself in those places. I don't go to co-ed, um, uh, meetings and stuff like
Yeah.
that because I had an issue with that. I
Mhm.
had an issue with taking my addictive personality, even though I wasn't using alcohol or drugs, but using it with women and sex,
Mhm. Mhm.
leaving a lot of blood in the water. And I don't want to do that.
Like you
I have
said.
my awesome wife who came out on stage last night in
Oh,
LA.
is she
I
gonna
sang,
come out?
I sang her happy birthday.
Oh, is it her birthday?
Today's her birthday, but I'm not there today. So
Sure. Oh,
last,
that's sweet. Is she gonna come out to this show? No. Okay. Well, happy birthday.
I got a kid in high school, man. When they're in high school, you don't miss a lot of school these days.
No, I can't imagine having a kid in high school. It must be rough. It's a little tough. But you
My
mentioned,
wife didn't want kids.
I'm sorry.
My wife didn't want kids. And she's like the mom everybody wants. All her
Really?
daughter's friends love her. They're like, hug her. She's the best mom in the world. But she never wanted to be a mom.
Oh, well, there you go. Whoops. Life coach. You've mentioned this. How did this happen? How did you get involved in it?
I've had people just tell me because I got a lot of stories and I've lived a lot of life and I share a lot, through meetings and I speak for people with MS and just a lot of things, a lot, sobriety related stuff. I do a lot of public speaking and people have been trying to get me to write a memoir, which I am, and to life coach people. And one of the things we learn in the program is not just gratitude and working your steps and all that stuff, is being of service is a huge part of it. Making commitments and
Mhm.
those commitments and being of service to other people. That's a huge way how we stay sober and clean. And being a life coach is something that I can be of service to people. I can take things I've learned and impart it to other bands and other people. I work with a lot of creatives.
Mhm.
Uh, it's not really public now. I got a private practice, but it is going to
Sure.
become public where I'm going to start doing like meetings and stuff like that. And, um, but at the same time, I'm making some money that I put away towards the time when the MS catches up with me and I can't play.
Mhm.
It's
Um,
gonna,
it's that's smart.
gotta be smart. I wasn't very smart with my money when I was younger because I grew up in a housing project. I didn't understand money. It wasn't real. I could
Yeah.
have like in 1994, before I got signed, I was like, I go to you ever go to your ATM dreading what you're going to see? You're like,
Oh yeah, I do. I
"They're
every
gonna
time
be negative.
when I
Oh,
open up the app, I'm like, because I know I spend a lot.
wow. I only got $19 in there. I can't take out $19.
You're like, oh, whoops,
But,
that's not good.
honey, um, but, yeah, I remember later that year, it was like I go to my ATM and there'd be $147,000 in there just from the advance money. I'm like,
Yeah.
you
I,
know, I
yeah,
didn't know how to deal with that. So I was giving money left and right.
for sure.
I spent so much money like going through divorces and I
Hmm.
would never like argue with them. I go, how much you want? This much. I go, okay. How much?
Bye.
This is more. I'll give you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just go away. Don't go away.
Just go
Go away.
away.
And uh, of course, that never works because
Yeah.
even though you give them more than the state tells you to give them, they still think they want more. They deserve more.
What a nightmare.
But my wife now is very frugal. Um,
Hmm.
even though I make a good living, she'd die if I told you this, but she still goes to Home Goods and Marshalls and places like that.
Listen, I go to Home Goods. I will go to Marshalls.
Marshalls or Ross Dress for Less.
No, We're not gonna
She won't let me go to Ross Dress for Less. She's like,
really.
you're not gonna get recognized in that place. I go, it's gonna know me. She goes, yeah, they. She's like, there's women in there driving Porsches and wearing like Chanel going into Ross Dress for Less. I'm like,
Like,
okay.
okay.
I'm like, man, I just ordered my Levi's online,
Yeah,
and
online
my
shopping.
stupid t-shirts. That's
Yeah,
about
online shopping is probably my downfall.
oh,
That'll be my downfall. But
what my wife told me, she goes, I'm expensive. I go, I know,
I
baby.
told that to my husband too.
And
I'm
he said,
expensive.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, he
I,
did the same thing.
you get what you pay for, man.
Hmm.
And I like
We're pricey.
he likes what he's getting. I like what I'm getting. I don't mind.
Um,
When she had my daughter, she's like, and she's got degrees. She's got a lot of degrees and stuff. She's like,
yeah,
if you want me to work, I'll work. But I really want to just stay home, take care of you, Arizona, and take care of my family.
yeah,
And I go, look, as long as I can pull it off, great. Or might get to a point financially where I go, baby, you need to take those degrees out for a little test drive here.
yeah.
We get, but we haven't gotten there. So yeah,
Well, that's a blessing in itself.
absolutely. It's a huge blessing.
Well, this has been such a fun conversation with you, Art. Like, thank
Been
you so
fun.
much
You're a
for taking
knucklehead. You're a
some.
knucklehead. You're like it.
I am a bit of a goofball. That's true. I've never denied this.
Well,
Um,
own it. Own
oh yeah.
that.
Uh, it's funny because like I remember there was a uh I saw like an intern that we have here who's like maybe 17, 18, and she was telling me that, there's some weird kids at school. And I'm like, if they're not hurting anybody, it's good to be weird. Own it.
The weird people are the people that like make life interesting.
Yeah.
Every
So,
and everybody's weird if you allow yourself to be.
mhm.
Everybody's different. Everybody has little peccadillos. Pickles and ice cream. If you like that,
Do
that
it. If it's not hurting anybody, go for it.
exactly. That's the way
Hmm.
I feel about it. The things I've done in my life is learned how to not do the things that come naturally to me that do hurt other people,
Hmm.
that create heartbreak, and I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I want my spirit, my soul to be clean. I want to
Hmm.
be clean. And that comes with boundaries too. Being able to
Hmm.
say, I don't want to do that. I don't feel
And
good
it's
about it.
hard. It's hard.
It gets easier as you get
As
older, crustier, more of a curmudgeon. That's what
Yeah. No, I've in my 30s I've learned, yeah, you have to put boundaries. It's
wait till you
incredibly,
hit your 40s and 50s. You're gonna be like,
it's
nope.
be great. Nope, 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 nope.